This show is brought to you by Rotary International. Service above self. Welcome to our first show of AhornTV in 2013. So, Happy New Year to everyone viewing us. And I welcome here Officer Falke. Hi, Officer.
How are you today?
Hey, not bad yourself.
I'm very good, thank you.
All right, very cool. Officer Falke, some of you know him. He's with the Vancouver Police Department. And we're going to talk this time about winter safety with cars and traffic in general.
Yeah.
I have a lot of questions for you, so let's stay tuned. But first, we're going to look into that little story which we have produced with Officer Falke.
Hi, this is Officer Falke again. I would like to talk to you today about how to prepare a motor vehicle for winter driving condition. Winter driving conditions are usually hazardous to the motor vehicle as well to the pedestrian. Therefore, it is more important that we pay even more attention how we drive and how we prepare our motor vehicle. First, I would like to talk to you how to check the cooling system. So our cooling system has a couple components. One's the radiator, as well the tank for the radiator fluid. So the radiator fluid has to be always filled up with an antifreeze. It prevents corrosion, but most importantly in the winter time, it prevents the freezing of our components, the cooling components. So we prefer to have an antifreeze with the water mix of a 50-50. Further, besides checking your radiator and your antifreeze, check also all the hoses leading to the radiator. Any cracks or softness will require a replacement of the hoses. Let's cover item number 3 while the hood is still open, the washer fluid. The washer fluid is very important in a winter driving condition because most of our main roads are winterized. We have a certain salt on the road, no snow, therefore it means we got dirty roads and a dirty spray from the cars driving in front of us, which eventually ends up on our windshield. Further, what drives our car? Our car is being driven by the wheels and tires. Tires I always recommend for the winter driving condition to have a set of winter tires on the car, replace the summer tires. Now I would like to show you a little trick as well, how we check the tires, how good they are, how old they are or how new they are. And we test our tires with a penny. So let's come to the tire. A new tire profile has gaps in between for the snow, the sludge and the water to be propelled while driving. So have a look how deep I could insert the penny. The penny itself, if it's fully inserted, the head of the penny should be covered by the tire. If the penny sticks out and you can see the head more exposed, the tire itself has been worn down to the lowest level and it's about time to replace the tire. We come up to our windshields. Same thing. We want to have a clear, unobstructed view from our windows from the inside. Not fogging up. Before you start your driving in the winter time, take your scraper, take your brush, wipe off the snow, wipe off the ice, not just a little see-through slit, the entire window. What comes to my mind as well, any snow on top of our roof, if we don't wipe it off, eventually at one stop at the traffic light, it will slide forward on our windshield. So, and once we have covered our car, the condition of our car, ready for a winter driving condition, I would like to show and explain one more aspect of winter driving condition, especially when we leave the city. Be ready with your car to spend the night maybe in your car. Snow, driving condition, maybe an accident or whatever happened. So in your trunk, I would recommend to have a blanket. If you stay overnight, that blanket might be a lifesaver. Further, a flashlight, very important. What I usually have in my car prepared, I have a utility bag. That's everything in here. I got my flashlight, I got some straps, I got different pair of gloves, your first aid pack, which is under the driver's seat. So, when we talk about tools, the scraper, forget the credit card. Have a real ice scraper and a brush to clean off your car roof of snow and ice. So, one more kit I would like to show you is my emergency preparedness kit. I have it on purpose in a backpack. If you're stranded, if you do encounter an earthquake, a backpack is easy to put on and to go maybe to a shelter and take it with us. So in this emergency kit, I have some items in here, like mini stuff for first aid, what you need. A little box set up with some little food. Nothing big, whatever you like. Some German chocolate, very important. Water bottles, have a few water bottles in there as well. Again, think of to survive a couple days, a couple nights. So that's all in all how I would recommend to winterize your car.
So that was quite interesting. I mean, I got right away my first question. I wrote down here some notes. Survival kit. I mean, do you need a survival kit in the car? Seriously?
Well, as mentioned in our little clip, it's an emergency survival kit. I have personal experience. I got stuck once Apex near Penticton on a snowy road in early March. Didn't expect snow coming down, and I got stuck actually. Had to wait actually for a snowplow to actually clear the road. So that was, lucky me, only 3-4 hours I had to wait. But if that's one night or a day and a night, it's a long day and a long night. But also further, just to explain, like we are living at the West Coast, and the West Coast is considered, right, to be in an earthquake zone. And just, you know what, even if you're not driving far out country road, but if there is an earthquake, for example, and you do have to stay put in your car maybe for a day or so before maybe the bridges are cleaned up or the roads are fixed up, you know what, the prepared mind is always ready for anything, right? So, and that includes your emergency kit.
So, but what I've noticed is you don't have in the survival kit let's say a knife or something like that. You didn't mention a knife, for example. Isn't that really important? I mean, especially when you encounter wild animals or so. Just I'm just thinking, if you're with your car really stuck somewhere.
Well, that kit, what I mentioned, I call it an emergency kit, not so much a survival kit. And survival kit is one thing. We go out hiking, maybe out in the bush. It's a different kit, a different setup, right? Yeah. You're on your own. In the car, the emergency kit is more or less to stay in the car to survive the night, or maybe a second night or a day till rescue agencies arrive and pick you up, right? So it's not so much that you have to fight for your survival, but rather stay and survive the days or the night ahead.
Yeah. So actually, let's put that up on the screen. So what do we need exactly? We need a shovel. We need a power cord for the battery. Possibly also an additional battery charger. We need gloves. We need what else do we need? We need blankets to keep us warm. So these are these basic kits. We just list them up here now on the screen, and let's continue, because we got a big topic, which is, I was kind of wondering. So you actually, that works, the penny with the with the wheels, for
To
example.
test yeah.
Yeah, is it,
the tires.
does it work with any kind of penny or just with, with the Canadian one?
You know what I was trying actually just to emphasis on, like our Canadian penny has the head of the Queen on there.
Oh yeah.
So it has from the rim to the head, like it's 2 millimeters. Let's call it the size. So if we stick it in, and as I mentioned in that little clip, if you can see the head, then we are down to the 1 or 2 millimeters of tread left on the tire, and that's just the margin what we should not go below. So that's why I mentioned once the penny doesn't go deeper in, it's exposed so far, it's about time to change it.
So it's not only the thread itself, the profile. It's also the age of the tire, correct? Because I just, for example, changed my tires. It had still some profile on it, but it was, I think the tires were 9 years old, and I've heard that they really start to get the rubber starts to get old, and that's the danger also that it might burst.
Well, yeah, for sure, right? I mean, most information or best information probably a tire shop can give you the best information on that,
but
right?
average is 5 years.
But you know what, like the rule of thumb is, I mean, it's number one, we have a chemical material, right?
Yeah.
Like rubber compound mixed with some other compounds together, and everything will eventually degrade into a lesser quality product, right? We have summer sun, in the winter we have the rain, the salt on the road, the change of temperatures from warm to cold, right? So definitely that. It's not only the wear and tear on the tire, but also definitely the age will put a toll on it.
So if someone wants to have all-year tires, so that he or she can use those tires also in winter and in summer. You mentioned last time when we were producing the clip, you mentioned that there should be a triangle on it. Is that correct?
The all-season tire we are talking about, right? So the all-season tire, they're good tires, and I have them on my car too. They have mountain in the snow symbol. There's like a couple of triangles with a little snow star on it. That means they are rated for the winter driving condition.
Yeah. So if you don't have that, then and you go into a chain, wheel chain area, the police might stop you, correct?
Yeah, and that's correct. Yeah, if you go, for example, local mountains, let's say you go skiing on Mount Seymour,
and you don't have that triangle,
and there will be spot checks by the local police. Also, you have to put on chains, and if you don't have chains, you have to have winter tires. Yeah. So the winter tires have to have a rating on there. So if you don't have the rating on it, you have to put the chains on it. If you don't have either, they will ask you to turn back.
So, all right, these are now the tires. Now, let's get to the other parts of the car. What else do you have to exactly worry about when it gets winter? I mean, there's one thing which I never understood. Black ice. What can you explain that to us exactly? Because I get a lot of questions often. What is black ice exactly? I mean,
well, very short, just for the show. Black ice is just an over-freezing condition of the road, which actually appears, it doesn't have to be rain or water really coming down, but just the moisture itself actually in the air, right? And it's an over-freezing condition, and you don't really see it actually on the road sitting there. Like often with ice, we know slush, snow. If you drive over the snow, it's hardened up eventually, and it becomes like ice, right? So with the black ice, we don't see it on the road really, and we drive and suddenly we go into that slick conditions. If you have your car, that's what I would suggest now, go behind the wheel, take one of those driver trainings, the safety driver training. That's probably one of the better ones to do.
Are they offered in the market? We haven't checked that.
I would definitely check the internet. There's often some of the car dealerships, they offer safety driving conditions, but there are also driving schools, they offer safety driving. And if not, maybe try in the winter time to see maybe if there's an empty parking lot which has maybe snow or ice on it, and see if you can just try your car, right? So, and how it performs, a full brake, the pumping brake. For the ABS on ice, it doesn't work. So you have to still do the pumping as you used to do without the ABS system. So that's what I would recommend.
Okay, so all right. Now, have we got everything for the winter safetiness of a car? No. You probably need. What else do you need? You need. We mentioned earlier. We haven't mentioned earlier yet. You need, for example, something to scrap the ice.
You know what? Yeah. What often we see. I mean, in Vancouver less because we have less the snowy condition on the road, but still you see cars coming in from out of town where there's a chunk of snow still on the roof. The windshield, in some cases, cleaned up, but the side or the rear window is not yet cleaned up after ice, and that's why I suggested to have a scraper, because once you have the tool, you're likely to use the tool. Yeah. If you just use the credit card, you just probably do only half as a good job, right? I mentioned in the clip as well, the big chunk of snow on top of the roof, clean it off, because once you come into a full stop maybe at an intersection, that snow just slides forward onto your windshield and then your vision is gone.
We had now recently a lot of pedestrians getting hit by cars. Besides now this whole issue with hit and run, what is your opinion on that in terms of safetiness? What can pedestrians do, and what can drivers do?
Yeah, the last stats what I checked out about mid-December, Christmas time, 2012, we had about 19 fatal traffic accidents where pedestrians were involved. 50% of them were directly pedestrian, and some of them could have been probably prevented. Traffic safety, in regards what you asked, what can we do as pedestrian? Well, number one, follow the traffic rules, right? We make jokes and everybody does it, many people does it, jaywalking on the street, right? And that's clearly in a motor vehicle act, if there's an intersection with a crosswalk within a block distance, you have to use the crosswalk in the intersection. If it's a 2-block or longer street, then of course you can cross the street anywhere where it's safe to do so, right? That's the motor vehicle act. It has to be safe to do so. You cannot just cross the street at an oncoming car. You're just assuming the oncoming car, number one, will see you, number two, it will stop.
Can I ask a question in between?
Sure.
So if there's a reasonable distance really to the traffic light or to the crosswalk, so crosswalk, we are talking of the zebra stripes, right?
Well, just the line at the intersection, yeah.
So if there's a reasonable distance, then you are allowed to walk over on the other side.
Yeah, it has to have,
it's safe.
It has to have a 2-block distance. Like if
Two
sometimes
blocks.
we have 2 blocks, right? We have a double block, like for example, the 100 number, the 200 number, and then there's another intersection.
I see.
So then, yeah, you can cross.
Is there also this rule? That's what I've heard. Correct me if I'm wrong. That if there is just an intersection or a T, right, or just a T, if someone is standing at the corner of that T and wants to walk over, that is also allowed?
You know what? Maybe I should show that on a piece of paper, perhaps.
Yeah, sure.
You got a pen and.
I got something. Wait.
Sure, let's do that.
Well, we prepared everything. So here you can draw down.
So, just a general intersection first. I will put on here, and then your T intersection here as well. So, actually, you know what? Let's do two quick. What we just were talking about earlier. We have usually an intersection where we have the crosswalk lines.
Yeah.
So that's the stop line for the cars usually. So let's put a car in here, right? And those are the crosswalk lines. Traffic signals hanging maybe overhead. And that's what I suggest, right? To go where the crosswalks are, right? So if we have an intersection with no lines, it is still considered an unmarked crosswalk.
Imaginary lines.
It is, right? So it is what it is. It is the intersection here, right? And the crosswalk will still exist. So if somebody stands over here, that's the crosswalk. And a car, an oncoming car, for example, should accept this as the crosswalk here. And
I mean, it's common sense. Yeah, everyone does it actually.
It is, and you know what? And if, again, as I mentioned earlier, if we do follow the traffic rules, we probably wouldn't have any accidents at all, right?
Yeah.
And if we show some courtesy to each other,
Yeah.
as suggested in the motor vehicle act as well, we shouldn't have any. And same applies here, right? So this line is the unmarked crosswalk line,
Yeah.
for example, here, right? So, and also saying that is the intersection, and here as well is the intersection. So I've seen before a parking car, for example, here, right? Well, it's part of the intersection. You cannot park a car within.
But no, very quickly said.
Oh, the traffic light you mentioned and the stop line?
Yeah, if we have a traffic camera
Okay.
for the traffic light.
You know what, we don't even have to talk about or concentrate on the traffic camera itself. We as police officers, if we observe that same offense, we don't need the camera as well. So I mentioned earlier the crosswalk line, and before there's a stop line. Okay, when is really the offense here committed? When we go through a traffic light. So this car's now approaching the intersection. Our traffic light is usually hanging here somewhere, or maybe on the other side. So if, and it talks specifically about yellow, because
Yellow
red,
is-
everybody knows red, you cannot cross an intersection, but yellow is the same thing. You cannot cross the intersection at yellow.
Oh,
okay?
really? I thought
Yellow
yellow
is-
is clear the intersection.
Exactly. Clear the intersection if you're in the intersection. If you are, and you're in the intersection from here on somewhere, wherever you are, right? That's the intersection here, as I drew it earlier here.
Yeah.
If you're somewhere in that side, inside in that side, at yellow, that's what it means. Clear the intersection, that's yellow.
Get out of
okay?
the way, yeah.
Because we have sometimes maybe a left turner.
Yeah, and that's the danger.
He's halfway in the intersection too, right? So that's why at yellow, if you're in the intersection, cleared, so he can clear the intersection too. Because after yellow comes red, as soon we have red, we switch for this direction here to green. So those cars are coming now, right?
Yeah.
So having said that, if you approach the intersection and it switch to yellow, you have to come to a stop.
Well, so Officer Falke, well, I have many other questions, but it's already half an hour is already over. Thank you very much.
Anytime.
And we're gonna see you latest when we talk about in the spring, when we talk about bicycles and also about motorcycles, right?
Sure.
Great. Thank
All
you
right.
so much. Great. And to you, thank you for watching. We see each other next week again. And don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And go to our website and check out our shows also on the website. All right. Thank you very much and see you next week.